Welcome to class, students. It's Coach Kai. We've made some massive upgrades to the Kinetic Rain Elementalist, encroaching on 100 million DPS. We're now full CI, we've added cluster jewels, and we've switched over to Kinetic Rain of Impact for much bigger and more consistent damage at high attack speeds. Today I'll show you every major update, including the CI transition with new defensive layers, cluster jewels and jewel upgrades, gem link changes with the change to our Kinetic Rain of Impact, big gearing changes to help our INT-Stacking, and a huge DPS path forward via high-end wands. And yes, we're juicing T16s and 17s like it's nothing. Let's dive in. Class is in session. With my attack speed reaching about 4 attacks per second on the previous build, normal Kinetic Rain was destroying anomalies way too quickly, preventing them from reaching their full damage potential. Kinetic Rain of Impact, on the other hand, doesn't rely on the anomalies. Its damage is applied on hit, letting us scale attack speed freely. We've also swapped the greater multiple projectiles support for Sacred Wisp for massive hit volume and projectile bombardment. Bosses melt, maps explode, and this skill feels amazing. Our auras still include Wrath for big lightning damage, Tempest Shield for extra blocks and shock immunity, Arctic Armor for physical damage reduction as well as fire damage mitigation, and freeze immunity, all linked together with an Enlighten level 4 gem. We're still using Precision, it's just now socketed in my ring. That ring tech actually freed up 2 sockets for us, which we used for a new mechanic, Arcane Cloak linked with automation. It gives us burst spell damage and a shield layer automatically when needed, and as we scale our mana even higher, this bonus only increases. It's not required, but it does feel extremely good. We're using the same core Graft package we were using in the previous video, Wreathed in Light for lucky lightning hits and flat added lightning damage, as well as Overcharged Sinews to stack Jolt for more attack damage and increased crit multiplier. With this, the tree, and our gear, we're sitting at about 95% crit chance and over 600% crit multi, and that can only improve with our next updates. We do have some changes for the passive tree, primarily picking up CI, and changing a few notables. The tree is now optimized for energy shield first, int everywhere we can possibly get it, as well as the same crit multi-clusters, and a few other clusters stay the same. There are some small reroutes near the witch starting area, focusing on arcane focus. This is just kind of to get a little extra energy shield until we get our cluster jewel setup going. The full tree and leveling notes are in the POB, linked below. Now, let's talk about the biggest change of all, the one you've been asking for, the cluster jewel setup. We're now running a large cluster jewel with opportunistic Fuelisade and martial prowess on it, as well as some int. A small cluster jewel with energy shield, int scaling, and extra effect. A light of meaning jewel with 3% increased energy shield on all nearby passive nodes. And finally, we're running a Watcher's Eye with double Wrath mods for lightning penetration and increased lightning damage. There is a third mod you could look for with extra attack speed while running Precision, but having all 3 of those mods on the Watcher's Eye jewel is extremely expensive. But if you can afford it, go grab it. The total investment was about 60 to 70 divines. It will double, possibly triple with that Watcher's Eye jewel, but it is worth every div. Huge DPS and energy shield jump. I'm up to about 11,000 now, and my gear isn't even perfectly optimized. Once we hit level 100, I plan to slot in a medium cluster jewel for even more damage. Now, let's go over the gear upgrades. There are major improvements everywhere that I've made on the gear. First, take a look at our helmet. The Crown of the Inward Eye unique helmet. This gives us a little bit of energy shield, but it mainly gives us transfiguration of mind, body, and soul, which gives us increases and reductions to maximum energy shield, life, and mana, also applying to spell damage, attack damage, and flat damage at 30% of their value, allowing us to scale on top of all the scaling we're doing already. We've also switched to a massive pure energy shield chest piece with crafted +% to all attributes, helping us scale our int even further. We've also bought a huge shield with about 500 energy shield on it, and with one of the attributes being recover energy shield on block. If I can get a shield like this with the mod increased chance to block on it as well to increase my attack block chance, that would be perfect. All of my other gear, we're looking for generic things to fix the build. Rings, we're looking for flat elemental damage, int, resistances, maybe some other attributes that we might need, attack speed on gloves as well as resistances. And on boots, I've decided to craft on the 20% move speed with a 100% chance to avoid being chilled. Chill is brutal. It slows down your entire action speed, not just move speed, making you weaker in both DPS areas as well as tankiness. In the last video, we discussed how to fix corrupted blood. I still have a corrupted blood immunity jewel slotted into the POB and into my passive tree. But another option you could go and use is switching your minor god into Ralakesh. Ralakesh provides you with defense against bleeding and stops you from taking more damage from moving when you bleed. And it also prevents you from taking full stacks of corrupted blood, stopping it at only 5 instead of letting it go all the way up to 10. This is much more manageable. The final gear change I want to discuss is the flasks. All the magic flasks I was using before is the same, but my unique flask I've been doing a little testing with. In the previous version I did try Dying Sun and it felt terrible. Adding 2 extra projectiles on the 15 that I already had and having the anomalies delete themselves even earlier felt horrible. But with Kinetic Rain of Impact, those extra 2 would bring me up to 15 total projectiles, and I believe Dying Sun would be a much better option. I'm going to need to do a little more testing with this to make sure, but I have a feeling it's going to feel great. In the meantime, Adzir's Promise is still a great flask to use, giving you 8% extra damage as chaos, and you get additional leech on top of that extra damage. Now, what's our biggest next jump for DPS? It is going to be our wand. A mirror tier wand with added lightning per 10 int, spell damage per 16 int, and high flat lightning attacks with lightning pin and attack speed will almost double our DPS, and it'll continue to scale as long as we continue to increase our intelligence. More int, more energy shield, more DPS. It covers everything. Our defenses, our offensive. I've posted an example of a mirror tier wand in the POB, and here it is on screen. This is what we're aspiring for. That's the CI Cluster Jewel update for the Kinetic Rain Elementalist. We're still improving, still blasting, and still learning. The full POB and earlier build versions are all in the description. If you have a Cluster Jewel idea, drop it below. I read all of your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on stream. Class dismissed.